Sorry about that, guys. Had an announcement. Obviously still in the school building and still have adults here, so that's a fun interruption. The one on the right there, 6C, that one could be a rectangle or a square because of the right angles. If I came down and I did not make them the same length, it could be a trapezoid. Could also be very boring, nothing sort of interesting going on, and you could call it just quadrilateral, you could call it just a polygon. The last specific shape it could be would be a rhombus, but if it were a rhombus, that rhombus would also be called a square because the 4 equal sides matched up with those right angles would make it a square as the most specific name. Now the last section here is asking us to draw a quadrilateral with the certain qualities provided. So if we want one pair of perpendicular sides, we need to know that perpendicular means 90-degree angles. So one pair of perpendicular sides. All right, so one pair of perpendicular sides, but no congruent sides. Okay, so I could go up here and then I could go down here. And as long as none of the sides are the same, it would just be a quadrilateral. If I bumped it just a little bit and I was a little bit vague and I said, oh, one pair, yes, it does have one pair, but maybe I also have another pair as well. I could stretch this out and make it a trapezoid, but because it says one pair, quadrilateral is our best answer. If it's one pair, oh, and there happens to be another pair, I could make it a trapezoid. But one pair only would be the quadrilateral. Quadrilateral with all sides congruent and no right angles. So the square that has started to tip over, that's our rhombus. Our rhombus has 4 sides that are congruent, but no right angles. Quadrilateral with all angles congruent, but no perpendicular sides. Now, this is a trick question. The only way to get all angles congruent is for them all to be 90, which would be a perpendicular pair of sides. So this one is not possible. And that happens. Sometimes we give you descriptions that are not possible. Last but not least, draw a quadrilateral with 2 pairs of congruent sides that are not adjacent. So already we know it's not a kite because the 2 sides that are the same cannot be next to each other. I would have a rectangle as a possibility, 2 pairs of congruent sides that are not adjacent, and the other one would be if the 2 pairs of congruent sides were offset, and then I would have a parallelogram. So rectangle and parallelogram. All right, so that is everything for classifying quadrilaterals. Hopefully that seemed pretty straightforward. This one a little trickier than yesterday's because you have to use yesterday's definitions and symbols in order to classify today's. So you may want to have the previous lessons notes out at the same time as today's lessons. Make sure that if you have any questions that you've written them down, made a note so that when you're talking to your teacher, you have them ready to go, that you can show us the page. Hopefully things are going well. If you have any questions or concerns about school in general, please make sure that you're talking to your advisor or that you're available when your math teacher has an available time. Thanks a lot. See you soon.